11.21 was jam-packed with a bunch of meta-shifting changes, so we've got you guys covered with the 3 best carry champions for each role to dominate solo queue. And with that said, let's get right into it. Many Bruiser top laners have become indirectly weaker this patch due to Conqueror and Gore Drinker nerfs. An already amazing pick from 11.20 who avoids these nerfs and becomes indirectly stronger is Camille. Besides a patch or 2 here and there, Camille has stuck around as one of the best solo carry tops throughout Season 11. The fact Camille runs Grasp and builds Divine Sunderer means she'll have an even better edge up on many meta picks. What makes Camille such an enticing pick is her consistency and kill power throughout all stages of the game. 2 and 3 item spikes are huge, and you can start one-shotting everyone in sight with true damage. For how deadly Camille scales, her early kill threat with Ignite is not to be undermined. Due to the long-range gap closer on E, your ability to run away with the lane and completely zone the enemy from resources is insane when ahead. Shen is one matchup that most Camille players struggle against, so banning him out is a good idea. Your core build is Divine Sunderer Rush into Ravenous Hydra 2nd and Sterix Gage 3rd. Trinity Force can be swapped in games where you are up against a super squishy enemy comp. The rune page is Grasp with Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Optimal secondaries are Free Boots and Cookies. As if Tahm Kench wasn't already impressive enough, he will stand alone as the most consistent carry top for 11.21. Bruiser's losing power is only positive for Tahm, as he already wins at a very high rate against those champs before the item and rune nerfs. For how easy Tahm is to pilot, his bully power against meta picks is really high. You just slap everyone around with autos, throw in Q whenever available, and if they try to flash away, you now have a gap closer to follow and finish off kills. The only matchup Tahm loses to right now is Lilia, but she's picked up at a much lower rate than most other tops, so it's not really an issue. A Frostfire Gauntlet Rush amplifies your sticking power, and by building Anathema's Chain second, your 1v1 potential really isn't fair. Thornmail or Spirit Visage, depending on the enemy comp, slot in nicely third. Keystone Rune will be Grasp, followed by Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Unflinching. For secondaries, Grab, Triumph, and Alacrity. After a short hiatus from the upper echelon of top lane, Darius is back and an amazing hard carry after his 11.20 buff. The Conqueror nerfs this patch obviously hurt a little, but Darius doesn't rely on Gore Drinker, so his relative power level compared to other bruisers will be even higher now. With W on a mere 5-second cooldown at level 1, your all-in potential right from the get-go is nuts. W start level 1 is winning more than Q now after the buff, so if you're still opening with Q, look to try out W first, especially in easy level 1 matchups. If you manage to get a nice chunk out of enemy at level 1, then you grab E at level 2, pop Ghost, and run them down for first blood. A couple of matchups you want to avoid are Wukong and Riven, so banning out one of the two is a good strategy. Trinity and Stridebreaker are great rush items. You'll have more consistent damage potential out of Trinity, but extra utility and sticking power from Stride. Second item Sterix and then Deadman's Plate, third slotting great. As for runes, pick up Conqueror with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Best secondaries are Bone Plating and Unflinching. With many AD fighter junglers hit this patch, keep an eye on AP champs and especially Ekko, who kicks off our top 3. Ekko has been a really consistent carry option ever since his passive buff a few patches back and is very accessible as well. Earlier on in the season, when Ekko was meta, he had over a 30% ban rate, but it's below 10% right now, so you'll be able to lock him in for most games. Ekko is all about that mid-game spike, as you can take over with your Rocket Belt and Nashor's completion. If you're not already building Nashor's, then definitely give it a shot. Nashor's users are winning more often than Lich Bane, and the item deals more damage in extended fights. Lich will deal slightly more upfront bursts, but it's super minimal. Core build is Rocket Belt Rush into Nashor's 2nd and Rabadon's 3rd. As for runes, Dark Harvest is the best keystone, followed by Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Optimal secondaries are Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. One of the most underrated champions in the entire game cracks our top 3 for 11.21, being Fiddlesticks. With Jarvan, Shinzao, and Graves all moving down this patch, Fiddle solidifies the spot as a top-tier solo queue option. There are many different ways you can play Fiddle after the recent Predator buffs. Fiddle's identity has always been around the level 6 power spike, but with Predator, you're capable of pulling off many more successful early ganks. Electro remains a great option too, so it really comes down to preference. If your laners are playing very aggressive picks who have strong CC, then running Predator and snowballing early is great. Key to success with Fiddle come mid-game is controlling objectives and finding picks with ult when enemies face check. Even in the higher elos, players often completely disrespect Fiddle ultimate, so by controlling vision and setting up in Fog of War, you'll solo win many games. Nail down this strategy and watch as your elo rises exponentially. Core build is Rocket Belt into Zanya's 2nd and Void Staff 3rd. By far the best assassin jungler you can play is KhaZix, and he rounds out the top 3. Only thing that really changes for Kha this patch is that his Bruiser variant builds are likely phased out. Not a worry though, as Ghostblade Rush is even more insane. Kha players who rush Ghostblade are winning 54% of the time compared to Duskblade at 50%. Duskblade slots in well second, but you really want that Youmuu's as your first purchase to run away with the early to mid game. It's almost unfair as to how easy it is to pick off squishies with all the movement speed and long range gap close from E. One of the most underrated benefits to KhaZix build is the 75 haste you acquire. This puts Q on an extremely short cooldown, providing you with very reliable, consistent DPS. Dark Harvest and Electrocute perform identically stat-wise on Kha, so it comes down to preference as to which you choose. Electro provides more early game snowball power and one-shot, while Dark Harvest is better in drawn-out skirmishes. For our question of the day, if you had the ability to make one change on the balance team, what would it be? Personally, I would take the opportunity to remove a champion, and it's a toss-up as to who I'd choose, but the likely culprit would be Yuumi. Sorry to all the Yuumi mains out there, but I just can't stand playing against the champ, as she can turn any carry into an unkillable god with little skill required. So, what would you guys do with such power? Let us know down in the comments below. To much of our surprise, Vex avoids the nerf bat in 11.21, so priority on the pick remains extremely high. Vex's kit is unprecedented for the solo queue environment, as you have long-range pick power with one-shot potential to capitalize on enemies' positional errors. What is it with Riot and giving these new champions long-range gap close spells that reset on takedowns? It's just a little overloaded in our book, as Vex ultimate can single-handedly shift the momentum in an instant. Thanks in part to Vex passive, she is seeing insane results into picks like Yone, LeBlanc, and Sylas, who are the most picked mids of 11.21. Cat and Kassadin are two picks who can give you some issues, so it's a good idea to ban one out. The best core build is Luden's Rush into Horizon Focus second and Zanya's third. Electro works best for the Keystone with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ultimate Hunter. Ravenous has been most popular throughout 11.20, but as a result of the nerf, we expect Ultimate Hunter to take over the slot. Secondary runes are Mana Flow and Transcendence. Even after the recent buffs and a drastic increase in power, many players are sleeping on Fizz. Fizz is without a doubt a top 3 assassin mid for 11.21 and becomes even better with nerfs to Ukshin. Fizz fares super well against other meta mids like Katarina, Zed, and Yone. Cat heavily relies on proccing her passive in order to win out on trades, so with Fizz E and Q mobility, he can do a great job of dodging out on loads of damage. Kassadin is one of the most annoying meta matchups you can run into, so removing him from the Rift in Champ Select is advised. Definitely look to try out either Relentless or Ultimate Hunter after the Ravenous nerfs. Relentless already wins more than Ravenous prior to the nerf, so it wouldn't surprise us if play rate really shot up in 11.21. You want to play Fizz very similar to Fiddle for maximum success. Finding picks with ultimate on enemies out of position is key, so set up objectives well before they spawn, wait in Fog of War patiently, and one-shot squishies as they walk in alone. Build for Fizz is Luden's or Zanya's Rush depending on matchup. Whichever you don't purchase first slots in well second, followed by Lichbane third. With Ukshin dropping out of the top 3 due to his nerf, moving back up is Katarina. What makes Cat such a strong solo queue mid is her ability to excel in Clown Fiesta skirmishes. The reset mechanic from passive allows Cat to thrive in those chaotic situations and clean up multiple kills, which leads to a massive snowball. All it takes is one kill with Cat to completely roll over your opponent. The teleport ignite strategy is something that pushes the champion over the edge. It's definitely not a coincidence that the strongest top laner and mid laner both abuse this setup. With Ignite, you retain great early kill threat, and by running Teleport, your map impact and ability to clean up kills is amazing. If you're unsure of who to ban when playing Cat, Galio and Fizz are two more difficult matchups. Player base is very split in regards to the setup for Cat, so there are a few options to try out. Nashor's Rush is very standard, while Rocket Belt and Riftmaker are viable second pickups. Rocket Belt is the more snowball-y one-shot option, while Riftmaker gives you more power and drawn-out extended fights. Same thing goes for runes. If you want maximum 100-0 power, then roll with Electrocute, while Conqueror is the stronger skirmish choice. Keep in mind that due to the Ravenous Hunter nerf, Resolve Secondary becomes indirectly stronger now when running Conqueror. We were definitely a little shocked to see Jinx buff this patch, considering she was already in a good spot, so we welcome her back into the top 3. Ultimate and passive buff will make your snowball power way stronger this patch. Cooldown buff on ultimate allows you to capitalize on all-in plays more often, while the passive buff enhances cleanup potential. Rune optimization will be really important for 11.21 after the Ravenous Hunter nerfs. Inspiration Secondary has already been slept on in previous patches, so definitely look to swap over now. Complete Rune Page is lethal tempo with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Run Biscuits and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. There are many options in regards to your build for Jinx, so we'll just give you a few to try out. Best teamfight DPS build is a Kraken into Hurricane and Infinity Edge. For a heavier single target focused setup, grab Fire Cannon second and Storm Razor third. This build works best against comps who lack a strong front line and are more squishy or assassin based. Gale and Kraken can always be swapped around as well, especially when you're against comps with skill shot reliant champs. The low elo queen who won't be going anywhere after 11.21 nerfs is Misfortune. Honestly, MF has been broken for every single elo bracket over the past few patches, and we don't see that changing with these mana nerfs. We mentioned in our 11.21 tier list that if you do find yourself running into mana issues, then incorporating a Manamune into your build path is completely viable. The mana nerfs will further incentivize you to run the Comet Page with mana flow instead of precision. Taking biscuits in secondaries will also help to combat the nerfs. The fact nothing damage based was changed is huge. MF Ultimate with lethality items chunks for ludicrous damage in teamfights and can straight up solo win games. Build of Ghostblade into Eclipse is the perfect mix of damage along with nice survivability from the movement speed and shield. Third item can be Manamune or Cyrilda's Grudge depending on preference. If you're a Vayne main, then you should be having a lot of fun with how the meta has shifted recently. With Lulu, Yuumi, Nami, and Soraka in meta all at once, it's a perfect time to add Vayne to your arsenal. We were actually really surprised Shield Bow wasn't nerfed at all for 11.21, so Vayne can continue to abuse it as her mythic. When you take into account the mobility from Q, stealth from Ultimate, survivability from Shield Bow, and a Lulu by your side, the ability for dive champs to take you out in fights is at an all-time low. Oh yeah, we almost forgot to mention Wit's End, which turns Vayne into a ranged tank. Hit your 2-item spike of Shield Bow into Wits and you have the ability to completely run away with the game. Rageblade slots in great as the third purchase. In games where the enemy comp lacks any AP threat, then swapping Wits for Phantom Dancer is optimal. For runes, grab Press the Attack with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Freeboots and Biscuits will work great for secondaries after the Ravenous nerf. So much for the Amumu nerfs, as the champion remains a dominant pick and a support who needs to be on your radar for 11.21. All-in threat from having 2 Q charges is insanely potent and provides you with some of the best gank assists for any support. Level 6 kill potential is even more crazy, as you have the ability to change CC a target for multiple seconds due to Q and ult. This makes your teamfight power top tier as well, since you can completely take out a high priority target from the fray. Locket is the standard rush item, while Thornmail and Abyssal Mask can be interchanged second and third. Run Aftershock with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching for primary runes. Prime secondaries are Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. Nami has proven to be a highly valuable support pick after recent changes, so she's back in the top 3 for another patch. Imperial Mandate buffs along with direct buffs a few patches back have propelled Nami into a top tier position. On Mandate completion, you provide your carry with so much extra damage. Toss your point and click E on your carry and watch as they melt away at the enemy's HP bar. Not only can you buff up teammates, but your ability to start fights and be the engage tool with Ultimate adds another layer to your solo carry potential. Lucian in meta is another big reason for Nami's power surge, as that duo is one of the best for 11.21. Core Nami build is Mandate Rush into Chemtech Putrefier second and Staff of Flowing Water or Ardent Censer third. Runes are pretty diverse, as Airy is the standard keystone, however Electrocute works great if you want to bolster early all-in strength. And the final feature of the patch to round out the solo carry supports is Blitzcrank. A consistent hard carry pick is what you're getting out of Blitzcrank over the past while now. Blitz was buffed while many other meta supports saw nerfs, and as a result, he has jumped into a powerful position. Every support should have Blitz in their champion pool right now, as he does so well into meta picks. Blitz has a positive win rate into Nami, Yuumi, and Lulu, who are the 3 most common Blitz matchups. Blitz can absolutely feast on squishy supports, as one hook sends them to Fountain and gives you full control of lane. It's a bonus when playing into a squishy support with a shield, as your ultimate completely nullifies their effectiveness. Core build is Locket or Shirelia's Rush into Zeke second and Knight's Vow third. Frozen Heart is situationally strong in heavy AD comps. Due to the Guardian nerfs, Aftershock will rise back up in priority now. Predator is actually a really interesting option as well after its recent buffs, and can be run in matchups where you lack reliable kill threat. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into Elo Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $4.99 a month if you are serious about improving. Alright guys, that concludes our update on the best solo carry picks for every role in 11.21. Good luck this patch, and we'll see you in the next video.